outside, because what I'm doing is I'm telling the scanner, you don't have to scan the whole bed. I want you to scan just this area. And in Epson software, they have something called scale. HP might be magnification, I forget. Other scanners may say magnification. They may say zoom in, zoom out, enlarge, reduce. I like to keep it at 100% or higher, at least 100%. When I'm at events like this, I scan them in at 150 just because the technology can handle it, the RAM can handle it, and you never know, it might be nice to have the original picture a little larger. At least have that option to make it larger. The resolution, and this one's tricky, but it's really important. It's for you, you really need to get over, if you do have a fear of dealing with image size, you know, because you're not sure what to do. That's something you really got to work on. It's important that you scan at no less than 300 pixels per inch. Now here, it says DPI, all right? It's a misnomer. It's actually PPI, pixels per inch, but they say dots per inch. And that's from the offset printing term. We won't get into that now. It is different, but in this case, it's the same thing. And of course, down here where I have scale, I put in 150. But like I'm telling you, at least have it at 100%. Now that applies specifically for reflective or reflective material, things that are printed on some kind of paper, or iron or tin, as well as large, medium and large, I'd say large format film. When it comes to 35 millimeter, crank it up all the way. You're scanning 35 millimeters, give it the maximum resolution that your scanner can handle. And why do you think that is? Someone raise your hand. Because the image area is so small. So if I'm going to scan an image area of a 35 millimeter, it's what is that, 1.5 inches by something, even at 300 pixels per inch, it's going to be it's going to be a nice postage stamp.
Are you talking about the negative film?
Yeah, 35 millimeter film. All right, yeah. Now, how many of you all have any medium format film where they call it 2 1/4? It's kind of squarish. Yeah, same thing. Crank it up as much as you can get it. Now, Nikon used to be a big manufacturer of film scanners, and they're pretty much phasing it out now. They still have one that they're selling. But Nikon really makes the best film scanners, in my opinion. And I've been working digitally since the ancient days of 1994. And I know y'all looking at me like, he's a baby, sitting there telling me about the ancient days. But seriously, Nikon, if you can get a hold to the Nikon Cool Scan, the Nikon scanners, do it. And especially if you have a large collection of 35 millimeter negatives and slides. Now, I'm not going to take anything away from the latest flatbeds. Yes?
When you're talking about scanning a negative or something,
yep.
How do you stop the static and all the rest?
Yeah, good question. Let me just, I'll get right to that. The flatbeds though, a lot of flatbeds have 35 millimeter, 2 1/4 and larger film carriers. And some actually have 2 trays. They have, not 2 trays, they got 2 surfaces. They got one surface on the top that's for your prints, and they got another surface that comes out in a tray. for your negatives and your slides, okay? And if you really want to do justice towards your film that you're scanning, get a flatbed scanner with 2 trays. One of those trays is called a transparency tray, and Epson does make that. Now, regarding the spots and the scratches on your prints, they aren't as noticeable as they would be in a 35 millimeter or a small negative. Does anybody know why? Why would defects be more visible in a small negative as opposed to an 8x10 print or a 4x6 print? Because it's blown up and all the defects come out, especially if it's what they call high-speed film or grainy film. You'll really see it. Now, frankly, the way digital is nowadays, I'm sure you all are aware of noise, or you've had some experience with it. You know, I prefer grain over noise any day, but it's something you got to deal with. I don't worry about dust and scratches in the scanner, except that there's dirt and scratches or dust and scratches on the glass of your scanner surface. And if that's the case, you got to clean it. Now, because these are made of petroleum products, and petroleum is an organic substance, plastic decays. We may not see it ever decay for a couple lifetimes, but in these scanners, they outgas. The fumes from that plastic go onto the glass and stick, and they build up over years. How many of you all have noticed that no matter how many times you wash that glass, there's this giant smudge that's growing?
Mine's on the bottom of the glass.
On the underside of the glass. Yeah, that's the outgassing.
So you can't clean that.
You have to take the bottom off.
Take the whole scanner apart.
Yeah. Now the bigger scanners, what I was talking about, the scanners with the dedicated tray, they typically allow you to pop the glass off. Right. Like mine, if you have something like this one right here.
Yeah, I've got the slide.
Yeah. You've got to take it apart and clean it that way. That's the only way. And it's really annoying. So the dust and scratches, I like to attack those in the program like Photoshop. But someone came up, the young lady who brought this picture that's on the screen. She said, I scanned all these nice prints, or all these old prints, and I worked so hard, and I look at them, and I see all these spots and scratches, and it looks awful. And it looks like I don't even see those in the original, and that's because, most likely, she has the settings in the scanner set to sharpen. And I'll show you in here. Let's say, okay, we're scanning something right now, all right? And we look down here. Here are what's called adjustments. And for some reason, why won't it let me adjust them in here? That's interesting. Well, anyways, every scanner, I just wanted to show this to you. Every scanner has these settings in their software. You have a scanner, and then you have a scanner software. They also call it a driver. There are settings such as unsharp mask, such as descreening, color restoration, dust removal, blah, blah, blah. Do not check any of these. Keep them all unchecked. You don't want your scanner doing work for you. You want your scanner to give you as much unadulterated pixel information as possible. You want to have control over it when you work in Photoshop. HP has it, HP can be a little buggy sometimes because